It's 7:30 p.m. I'd like to call to order the meeting in the Inland Wetlands Agency of the Town of Woodbridge. It's Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. We have a number of things on the agenda this evening. First, Jean is seated for Josh. Next on the agenda, 5 Jeremy Garden Lane, Bauer Sumpio, application for installation of 12 by 20 pool shed. Mr. Sumpio, if you want to just come up and just briefly tell us what you're looking for.
Do I need to sign it?
Yeah, you might as well. You know, Chris probably knows who we are, so.
Good evening. My wife and I would like to install a 12 by 20 pool shed on our property in our yard. We have a 20 by 40 pool, and so this shed would be in front of it. We're not going to remove any existing plants or structures on the garden. It's not an area of our property collects water floods. The plan is to put a cement slab over a gravel foundation. The shed is 25 feet away from that wet land area. It actually, in Jeremy Garden, that was a artificial wetland. The builders dug it up so it's not part of the pond that's on Jeremy Garden Lane, but it's considered obviously a wetland.
Mm-hmm. Is where the shed is proposed, is that lawn area now?
It's lawn, it's on the lawn.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Chris, do you have any, I mean, I walk down the street a lot, I know the area generally, and my kids used to be friends with their kids, but I.
Still friends with their kids?
Yeah, well, they've lost touch, but yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I mean, since it's on an existing lawn,
yeah.
it's your choice if you want to hold on to acting on it or if you want me to, to defer it to me. I'm assuming this is just going to have pool stuff.
Yeah, we have 6 grandchildren now, so suddenly we have all this, so.
So no tractors, no gas, no.
Yeah.
No, nothing there, no.
I don't know, I think it's something that can be delegated, especially since it's in an existing lawn area, but what's everybody else think?
Yeah, I had some questions. Thank you for coming. Help me understand, this area here, perhaps you could see me pointing to it, designated as 2.05 acres. What is that square that's filled in dark? It's the first of your...
Oh, that's the pool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the depiction of the, 20 by 40 pool,
Okay.
right? And the shed would be 20 by 12, so it'd be the length of the pool. My
Thank
wife
you.
decided it would be the width of the pool and 12.
Thank you. So that clears that up. I had some supposition that was so that's a large, that's a large pool shed, 20 by 12 for a pool. So I was struck by the size of the pool shed.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't even occur to me if you weren't so close to the wetland, to the resource. So that was one issue that came to my mind, is the size of that, given the proximity to the wetland area. So, and then I'm wondering, why can't this go anywhere else in relation to the pool than to the rear of the pool, closer to the wetland? What is the reason for placing the structure there?
As opposed to between the pool and the house, you mean?
Between the pool and the house, or to one side or another, let's say?
So the property slopes away, the way that the house is set on our property, it slopes downwards. And actually, you can see that there's some stones there alongside. So there's a creek, actually, that, is all the way over going into the other property. And, I guess it's more this, the aesthetic of it, we didn't think it was, do you think it's too close to the wetland? I mean, we're just putting a structure on it, so.
Yes.
There's no plumbing, there's no, no electricity, nothing of that sort.
Okay. Sounds to me like you could use a little explanation about why that's an issue. And, it's our responsibility to protect the quality and the physical characteristics of the wetland area. And when you place structures in proximity to the wetland area, there's some opportunity to negatively impact the wetland area through any number of things, not, including the fact that you're building a structure there, so you're going to have some disturbance during construction, but you're eliminating some pervious surface there, and then you're going to end up with discharge from leaders or so roof gutters into areas, and that could create scour and things like erosion and whatnot. So this commission is responsible for investigating the impact of these activities within 100 feet of the wetlands. You are proposing doing something within 25 feet. That's what puts you in front of the commission, and those are a couple of reasons. So I'm wondering, I can't quite read because it's so small, the legend, the compass. So my instinct is, as I'm holding this in a landscape fashion, I'm wondering, is it possible to move the shed to the, let's assume north is up, to the east of the pool? Certainly
It is
sufficiently.
to the east.
It is to the east right now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then whatever direction that would be to put it right here and keep it away from encroaching upon the wetlands. Looks like your pool may be 50 feet from the wetlands, so that'd be my those are two issues that occur to me, the size of the structure and the location of the structure. Is there any reason you could not move it to the right of the designation 2.05 AC for acres, I suppose?
When you say to the right, that means to the north?
If that's what
Are-
that
Are you
is.
looking at the north?
Again, it's hard to see what because it just didn't photocopy well.
Yeah, that's north. I
Okay,
think.
so let's assume, so I'm going to make a note so I don't make that mistake again. All right, so can you locate, would you consider locating the, if this commission felt that was,
Well, aesthetically, right, it's going to be closer to our deck. So our deck, as you can see, is right there. So you're proposing, we have all that land behind the pool, that area there. And, that would be the optimum site for us. Putting it anywhere else, again, it would be between the deck, so visually, it's not as, it's sitting right in front of our deck.
I'd be interested
that-
to know what other vegetation is in the lawn between the house and the wetlands, or around the wetlands.
Just, it's,
Is it lawn all the way to the-
it's all lawn,
Lawn right
yeah,
up to
it's
where
all lawn.
Designated wetlands are. Okay.
Yeah, as I said, it's separated from, if you can see there, there's the real pond or lake that's there, that's separate. And this was an artificial one. When they built the house, when the development on Jeremy Garden was going up 25 years ago, because that's when we came. And it was all dug up. In fact, there's no soil there, so we would have preferred to have it level, but they dug it all up, and so now we're sort of left with where the water table kind of gets filled by the rain. It's a different level than the lake itself.
So that question. The writing says 20 by 12, the picture shows it is square. Which way is it the 20 going?
The 20 is, and it's my fault, I tried to do it to scale, but the pool itself is 20 by 40. That depiction of that pool there, which I got from the assessment, is 20 by 40. So it's, the width of the pool is the longest part of it, and it's thin, so it's 20 by 12.
Just judging by the dimension of 50 feet on here in another area, it looks like it's, presuming that the drawing, this is the lake, the pond that you referred to. It looks like it's almost 50 feet.
So the measurement to the tip of it is, it's actually 32 feet, right? When I apply this, and maybe I just don't know enough about the process, I said it was at least 25 feet away. But when I measured it, because we put the stakes on the ground where it would be, and I took the measurement, it was 32 feet. It was past our 20-foot tape. But I didn't want to err. I wanted to err on the side of, giving
And this area is all flat, or is it still?
No, it's flat. It's flat all the way. And that's why the measurement is actually to the edge, and where the wetland is, is where the water is, obviously. But I measured it as best I could to the very edge where the flat part of the land was.
And this is year-round pond, or is it dry up during the summer?
It dries somewhat during the summer. We have enough for mosquitoes. It doesn't. It's nice for the winter because it's safe enough that it's not deep. So if it ices over, the kids can play on it. It's not on the actual lake.
Yeah, I guess my concern with moving the shed to the north side of the pool also is that it just makes it closer to the lake, which is a, more significant wetland resource, in my mind at least. I don't know. Jack is right, though. If you scale it, at least the placement here makes it look like it's almost 50 feet away from the edge of the wetlands. So.
And I just, I didn't know, I took this from the parcel map.
Right.
And so I presumed that where the pool was placed, I didn't put that there.
Yeah.
Where they had that was accurate, and that's where I put my mark. And honestly, I didn't do it to scale in terms of the distance from the pool. So we could even make it further away, if that's what you wish, by having it really closer to the pool, bring it up, if a few feet was the issue. But as I said, I just tried to give a depiction of where this pool shed was going to be.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I think the impediment here is some friction between the aesthetics to you. You do not want to see the structure, I suppose, from your house or your deck. And that flies in the face of some of the principles that guide us in examining your proposal. So now this isn't the most significant construction project that we've seen lately. So, Mr. Chair, my suggestion perhaps is we delegate this to our enforcement officer with the instruction that to whatever extent it's practicable to move this structure, even if it's not in line with the pool as the applicant would prefer, that every effort be made to locate it someplace more to the north and away from the wetland. I consider them both wetlands, not one is more important than the other. So delegating it with that instruction.
Well, I mean,
I'm not quite understand, I'm sorry.
No.
So you're saying to the north?
That makes
Is
it
this north?
closer to the lake.
Get to the right of the
It's north this way?
pool. So
Which way's north?
as
I
we
see
look
it
at it
straight
from
up.
this is
an
north.
aerial view, so
We wouldn't want to
the
move it
structure
north.
could
We wouldn't want to move it
end
south.
up migrating,
Between
let's
the
say.
pool and the house?
I'm sorry, can you ask me that again?
Between the pool and the house?
Certainly, there's not enough space for that, no. To the right of the pool in that open space, let's say, maybe somewhere to the left of the P in the word proposed on the diagram? Somewhere to the left of the P?
Well, that'd be closer
Closer.
to
That'd be
both the
closer
wetland
to
and the
the-
lake.
The lake.
Well, yeah, it's still, I'm just giving you some direction, not between the pool and the house, but over in that area. So Certainly not on the P, let's say, but yeah, closer to the pool, yes.
Well, I think if we're asking them to move it at all, it'd be further to the south, would make more sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this a constructed shed, or is it just a,
Is it prefab or is it,
It's going to be a prefab shed that's going to be put in.
So the north, yeah, I would agree, the north or the south, that would be,
It seems to me, if you're gonna set it on gravel, you said it would be
It's
on a gravel
it's
bed?
gravel on a concrete slab. A concrete slab on a gravel foundation.
Because I was thinking the drip line, if it was on gravel, if the drip line dripped into the gravel, then it's a pervious surface. The water would be going back into the soil, which is important.
Yes.
But on the gravel, I guess, on the concrete, it would just run off into the lawn.
well, I
So
guess
it's the
there'll be
same
gravel around the concrete slab, is that it? Or is it-
That's correct. So when I checked, that's how they would do it, that it needed to be on a gravel foundation.
So you-
So they would, I guess, dig up around, put the gravel down, and then put,
Something
know,
solid for it to
solid
sit on.
for it to sit on.
Yeah, well, it seems like that maintains some pervious space too.
Sometimes they actually have them just rest on sleepers. I have one. And they rest on sleepers, so it's gravel and then sleepers underneath, and then, so the shed is elevated about yay high.
That's my understanding of what they're gonna do. I mean, I, when I talked to them and had them, because we didn't want them bringing concrete trucks and so forth with it.
Yeah.
But that's my understanding, is that the base itself would be gravel. And they wanted me to check, actually, I checked with the town to see, and you said, I didn't need to dig down or do any foundation.
don't.
But a gravel foundation would be okay.
so, Mr. Chairman, perhaps a delegation to our enforcement officer with with a view toward relocating that to the north or the south, and the south may be a better option, but just away from the wetland.
Are there any other improvements between the deck and the pool? I mean, is there a patio around the pool? I don't remember from.
No, there's no patio around the pool. Just to clarify, when you say to the south of this, right, you're actually going toward, in our boundary, right, there's a creek there. Okay, there's a creek which empties into the sewer. It's not a creek, but, there's a water pathway. So I think, I think that would be more detrimental, as you said, to the south.
That,
Looks like
I'm prepared to allow our enforcement officer to exercise her discretion if that is a suitable place or not. I'm sorry, Jack, did I cut you off?
no, it looks like you just sort of split the difference, put it in the middle.
We'll see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Take a look.
Yeah, I think we can delegate this, and if once you're out on the site, Chris, you
Yeah.
could make a determination as
Because
to
I
the best
know the
location.
piece that's on the property itself is really the lake, if you want to call it. The real wetlands is
Yeah.
actually to the north on the next lot. This one's more of a. All right.
Okay.
So you had a motion to delegate?
Yeah, we have a motion to delegate the matter to Chris, to
So-
consider, whether that's the appropriate location, whether it should be further north or south of that proposed location, but it's within your discretion,
Yeah.
so. Okay,
Second,
Steve moved, Jack seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions. So basically what this does is it, by Chris deciding it, you don't have to wait till next month for us to make a decision, so you could work with her as far as confirming the location and work it out with her,
On a
so.
non-rainy day, I'll come in.
And not tomorrow, so,
Not tomorrow,
okay.
Thank
Very
you,
good.
thank
unless
you,
we
Have a good
really
night.
want to get wet.
thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome, yeah.
So if you want, just send me an email or call me and we can set up a time that works for you.
I will, thank you,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Okay, 346, and should we do 346 and 348 at the same time, or do them separate, Chris? Berman?
Alan's here.
Alan, yes, don't you?
For the record, it's Alan Shepard, Nokowski, Beam Chow Kane,
415 Howell Avenue, Shelton, Connecticut. And as you know, for the record, I'm also a professional engineer. So this is a couple lots that we had approved a couple years ago. They're interior lots on Rimmer Road. Gary Greco had them. We sold those lots. Giuseppe Coletta is here in the audience with me. He's gonna build on the lots, but they like to clear the driveways so they can show the lots. We had a detailed drainage plan for the driveways and the location, so they were gonna follow the approved plan on all the drainage and everything, and just go in there and clear the driveways in some of the lots. As you can see, highlighted the limited disturbance line, so they can market the lots. And it is a step to go, you know, to develop the lots. So, you know, if we had to develop the lots, we would have to do this anyway. And it was the same driveway location that was approved during the subdivision. And so, that's why we're here.
So, so what's that green?
That's the limited
Outline.
disturbance line, just to show the board that we're not going outside the original limited disturbance line. We're just clearing what we need to do to get the driveway in.
But do you need to disturb all that to get the driveway in, though? I guess that's what I don't understand.
Yeah, we have utilities and stuff like that, and some drainage, we had drainage to put in, so.
Oh, so you're doing really more than clearing it, you're putting in the utilities and that?
Yeah.
At this point?
Yeah, they'll get it established, because that's the only way you can sell interior lots, is so people can see them. And I would rather have them just go in there, put the gravel base down, put in the drainage, you know, hit it one time and get it wrapped up.
But it comes back for house location and,
Yes, we have to come back.
yeah.
Once we have a particular house, we'll have to come back for the particular house. If, and then this is up to the board, unless the house falls right in the same spot as where it is right now on the plan. And that would be up to whether we can have staff review for the detailed site plan. But if there was any changes, we'd come back to the board.
Go ahead.
How far up is this driveway gonna go relative to the houses? I mean, are you gonna put
We're gonna go
driveway
up
to
to,
where the garages are shown?
yeah, up to the garages, yeah.
And this is gonna be paved or impervious?
It'll be gravel
Gravel.
driveway. We may have a client that wants it paved, but we had figured for gravel. I do have the drainage calc size for pavement, so. But we'll gravel it for now.
What was the sentence you said before? You do have something pavement?
Yeah,
missed that sentence.
when I do the drainage calcs, I figure it's gonna be impervious.
Thanks.
Excuse me, I've forgotten what the gray shaded areas represent.
The grade?
The gray spaces, the gray
Oh, the gray spots?
shading.
Yeah, the shaded areas are the steep slopes per se.
Okay,
So we're, you know, as you can see the driveway, we stayed away from the steep slopes.
okay.
I used there's actually an old farm road that goes up through there, and I used the old farm road.
Well, you know, I'm predisposed to, you know, approving the driveway, utility, and drainage work. I think I'd rather have the specific house site plan come back once you know what you're gonna be building there. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but,
Absolutely.
yeah. But we've seen this a few times now, and I understand your desire to be able to have somebody see actually what it's going to sort of look like when they build, so I can understand that. So that part, I think I'm okay with. Comments? Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm looking at page one of your plans, and then I'm looking at note 5 of your plan, which begins, all erosion and sedimentation and control measures will be constructed in accordance with. You have you show that they'll be constructed in accordance with the 2002 Connecticut guidelines for soil erosion and sedimentation and controls. Those have been succeeded.
Yes.
Several
that's
times.
updated. It's a boilerplate note, so we will follow the most current.
The March 2024 version.
Yes.
Can I ask you to go in and review your plans and determine whether any changes need to be made and then report to the commission whether your analysis shows that there are changes? Because let's say this is predicated on the 2002 guidelines, now we have 2024. So could you review your plan and let us know what needs to be changed in the light of the most current version?
I'll do that. I'll send a memo to staff.
Thanks. So that was one thing that occurred to me, Mr. Chairman. Number 2, so you said that the driveways would be gravelled unless the customer, owner wants them paved. Well, that would seem to contradict other note 1 on page 1, where it states that all proposed driveways will be gravelled up to 6% slope, gravelled up to 6%, and then they'll be paved over 6%. So I can't really tell from your plans how that note impacts what we're looking at.
I don't believe I have anything over 6% on the driveway right now, the way it's graded. But that note is to state, for the record, if we have anything over 6%, I believe they should be paved. So, and that's a standard that I kind of go by.
So currently, however, the proposal is for a gravel driveway.
Gravel driveway.
Thank you.
Actually, it's 2 driveways, right?
Two driveways, yeah.
Thank you, Jim.
And for the board, we're considering both those applications, we're talking about at the same time, because they're similar.
And what's
But the
gonna
2
go in
separate
between-
applications.
And what will be in between them?
There's just land in between them. They're going to be parallel side by side.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, otherwise, I just wanted to compliment you. The plans were easily read. You show us anti-tracking pads, which would be a necessity at this property. So that's the extent of my comments at this point, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
I do have one other point. Well,
I don't see
Commissioner
where the
should think.
septic area is for lot 3.
It's down and back in the woods. So it's,
Okay, it's here and I'm
if
just
you
not
look at the
finding it.
overall plan,
Oh, wait,
yeah.
okay.
These are large lots.
That's a lot of piping.
Yes.
One more question.
Jack.
Who's gonna own these driveways?
They're fee simple to the individual lots. So, the owner of the property owns the driveways.
Stephen?
Yeah, and it's something I always ask when we have driveways that are coursing along, pardon the pun, wetlands or water courses or within the upland review area. Are these driveways wider than our zoning regulations require of a driveway of this, to serve this lot? In other words, do our zoning regs require a 12.5-foot driveway and we're looking at 16-foot driveways?
No.
That's the question I'm making. So you're at
No,
the...
we're not going with a common driveway thing. we're doing a fire truck pullover so a fire truck can pull over.
So you're not exceeding what the
Right.
zoning regulations?
Zoning regulations are silent on the width of driveways.
Ah, okay, that's interesting, that's good to know, thank you, Christine. So what is the standard then in the industry? If if zoning regulations are silent on it, and we need to prepare for emergency vehicles, what's the typical width of a driveway serving a rear lot under these circumstances?
12 to 14 feet.
That's what I thought too,
Yeah.
thank you. And that's what we're looking
We
at?
make them a little bit wider because they're a rear lot. And then we have the pullover for the fire trucks to pass apart. And for cars coming in and out, if you see someone coming in, you can pull over. And they're designated on the plan with that.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
So while Commissioner Currick's reviewing his notes on this, so Mr. Chairman, are we in a position where will we be voting on this tonight, given the fact that there's some potential for it to change if the guidelines require? What do you imagine procedurally tonight?
You
the
can't,
first- this is
you
the
can't
first-
vote on it
Okay.
unless you defer it to me,
Yeah,
and I don't think you want to do that.
no, we might as well wait till.
We get a report
Yeah,
back.
Alan, if you could just confirm there's no changes from this based on the new soil and erosion control standards, we can deal with it next month without you having to come back, basically.
Yes.
So,
Good point.
anybody else have any other questions, though, before we lose Mr. Shepherd?
You done, Jack?
Jack, do you have anything else? No. Okay.
And
all
I
right.
just want to note for the record that we will stake out the driveway, survey stake it out, and the builders will communicate with us with the instruction.
Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah, I just, when we do expect to approve it next month, we will reserve the right to review the house placement at that point, you know, so.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 with people when they buy their rear lots like this.
Where they want to put
sometimes we get people with a lot of things going on.
Yeah, I know.
But hey, you know, when you say that, you kind of creates some ambiguity. When you say it's 50-50, they might want this and that. I think the chairman is suggesting that irrespective of the desired location, it's
We're
going to
fine.
come back to the
We're
commission.
fine.
Thank you.
We're
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda. 144 Ford Road, split rail fence installation issue. Whoever's here,
Yeah, hi.
hi, how you doing?
Well, thank you. I'm Jake Jellick. I'm the homeowner for 144 Ford Road. Thanks for meeting with me this evening. I was made aware just recently, after we moved in, prior to just right before Thanksgiving, that a split rail fence was to be installed on our property. And I was wondering if there are any alternatives to installing the split rail fence and what the purpose of that fence would be.
Okay, let's take a look. Where is it?
It's towards the back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see the structure if you're looking from the bottom to the top of the page. The structure's there, and then there's a
Yeah.
fence that comes across. It's marked with squares and a straight line from about halfway down the property line on the right-hand side on Osborne Road.
No, here.
Follow that fence line, it curves around the contour of the terrain there and then cuts straight across.
Did you have an alternative in mind?
Well, my preference would be not to install a split rail fence there and have no structure at all.
So the builder didn't install this before you bought it, or is this a new piece of property?
It's new construction.
Right,
Yes.
The house
Yeah,
is,
my-
the house
yeah.
is built.
Eldo's my builder.
okay.
Yes. It was just, I guess, out of mind type of thing, and we were made aware of it recently by Christine here, and we were trying to build it. We let Jake know, and he was trying to figure out if there's another option for it, that's all.
All right,
Separation to the wetlands.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
was. So
it was,
didn't go into
it
the
was to
wetlands.
protect the wetlands.
Yeah.
And that's the way the permit was issued, right?
One reason we ask for
Yeah.
a visual, physical manifestation of a division is because over time, people forget that the wetlands are not to be disturbed.
Okay,
And so that's why we've asked in the past to have that kind of structure. And, split rail fence is just a very simple way to do it.
yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Is there a concern, I mean, it's at the 100-foot review area, is there an alternative location you're thinking about, or is it just you don't like a fence, or?
Well, I'd prefer that the view not be disturbed with the fence, but also there's a concern with any maintenance that I need to do back there. We had some trees fall back there this winter. So to be able to get back and clear out any fallen trees, that's from the house back is the only way to do it. Be it there's well, the roadway on the right side on Osborne Road is raised, probably 3 or 4 feet. And so, and there's some remnants of a stone wall and some old barbed wire fence. We're clearing the barbed wire fence out, but it makes it inaccessible from Osborne Road to get back there to clear that stuff out. So I'd prefer not to have the fence, or at least have significant, or at least passageways through the fence area. But ideally not have the fence there, as it would restrict my access to my land back there. And also, as I mentioned, just the aesthetics of being able to look back there. If I wanted to go further, I would say that it may impede wildlife from transit through my yard back to the wetlands. We have some ducks back there. We have about 3 ducks, some deer, some turkey. They woke us up the other day. So I just would rather leave it natural.
When you go back to do whatever you're doing back there, are you going back with machinery?
No, I'm just going back on foot. I mean, we had a tree, I got to clear out some stumps, well, not stumps, but where I cut the tree up in sections. I'd either go back with a wheelbarrow or like a 4-wheeler and pull that out.
And-
But
Generally, that's the whole issue, is that that area is supposed to be more of a conservation area where you're not bringing in equipment,
okay,
and that you're doing stuff on foot, and that you aren't stumping what may fall. I mean, if something falls, you're welcome to go in there and cut it up,
yeah.
haul it out.
Mhm.
But as
Well, I
Gene
can-
said, it's trying to protect the area.
Well, maybe we can, as you mentioned, Jack, just have a couple breaks in the fence where you could get through to walk through, or if you have to go in there and do something, so.
You're talking about getting to the trees that have fallen behind the fence,
Yeah.
Where the fence is proposed, yes, sir.
and the fence is 100 feet from the wetlands.
Yeah, it's the 100-foot
100-foot.
review area, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that area where the fence, from where the fence is supposed to be back to the wetlands, has that been disturbed, or is that still a natural state?
It's all natural. It's very nicely wooded, so. And there are lots of ferns on the ground there, so that's another thing. I wouldn't want to disturb those ferns putting in a fence across them either.
Well, the fence post is. Good,
But-
Stephen.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Weber's already set out the reason that we prefer these physical manifestations of the limits. And one of the reasons that the fence, the split rail fence is suggested is it's economical, and you can remove those rails to get access past it. So
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, aren't they?
there's some opportunity to remove whatever to get access, and just as you heard our enforcement officer allude to, you shouldn't be gaining access to that with machinery. It's,
No problem.
just foot access and clearing, well, this, and that. Otherwise you'd have to come back for some permit or permission to bring any machinery in that area, this and that. So I just, I'm not really following your argument about, impeding the wildlife and disturbing the ferns and whatnot. I think that the policy of the commission in setting out a demarcation line that's notifies homeowners and passers-by that this is a resource, a protected area, and as so much as it's on your property, it's your land, you're actually a bit of a caretaker for the public trust of it all. So you have awesome responsibility as the steward to your property for the benefit of the community. So I'm not persuaded by your arguments yet.
Okay, I understand.
And I think and I probably should have looked at the file before the meeting, but I thought one of the other arguments and the reason for the fence and the demarcation was that there was some issue whether it was a vernal pool there. So therefore, some towns won't let you build within 750 feet of a vernal pool, never mind 100 feet of it. And my recollection from way back when is that that was the reason why we decided we needed to have the area marked by a fence.
A compromise was struck, Mr. Chairman?
Well, I don't know if it was compromise, it's just recognizing the value of what that, that wetland area in the back is. So as was mentioned, a split rail fence, you could take the rails out and go through it. I'd even probably consider any proposal you had where you leave one section out of the fence so you don't have to keep taking the rails out, and that way it'll allow make it easier for people to walk in there, because walking through a wetland area or review area isn't a problem, in my mind. But I kind of think we need to keep the fence there, for the most part, but,
Okay, another concern of mine is that it goes right through my property. So passersby would see that there's a fence there, so they think that's the edge of my property. So they could go back and trespass into the wetlands area, and then I got to go scramble them out of there. So-
Erect some signage, I suppose, like any other property owner.
or continue the fence along Osborne Lane, if you wanted to.
Good point.
You could do that to prevent people from going in there, but, and like I said, my recollection, because I've been here way too long, is that was the reason for it.
There was a balance struck that
Yeah,
day, yes.
exactly, yeah. Because there was a big issue on that from my recollection, so. But,
Okay.
when the lot was approved and the other lot too, so. I don't know.
Yeah, and this is the edge of the wetlands here,
Yeah, mhm.
and the possible vernal pool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a beautiful area. I certainly don't want to disturb anything back there. And when it comes to vehicles or machinery back there, understand our responsibility and not to do that, the restrictions against that. So we can certainly make arrangements or abide by those rules.
So
You know-
the stockade fence would also protect the interests of the public after you are gone.
Right.
Because we cannot predict you'll own the property forever, and your memory will prevent people from converting that area into backyard, this and that. So that's another reason
Sure.
why is you will not always own the property, and that physical barrier will outlast some property owners, and that's the way it's intended.
So an alternate, maybe if we do have the fence, could we at least have some sections that are open so that we don't have to take the fence down and to get passage through there? Because we like to go back there and, kids like to go back there and walk around and play in the wintertime and stuff like that without having to take a fence down or a section of the fence down or climb over or under it.
May I answer that, Mr.
sure,
Chairman?
you could.
Yeah, as long as you're not proposing a workaround where we have no physical barrier, and everybody, so, yeah, if you wanted to use your discretion and leave one section, that's whatever that 6-foot section is, for people to pass and repass through, that's your prerogative, you're free to do that. But if you're wondering if you could have a 20-foot gap or a 30-foot gap, a 40-foot gap in that, I'm not persuaded, I would not be persuaded
Yeah.
I would be inclined to approve that.
Yeah, I think on this, maybe if you don't mind, Chris, we could delegate it to you with them to come back with just a proposal where to leave 1 or 2 openings within the length of the fence, and that way for access, for, just enjoyment of the property. I'd prefer those openings be at one end or the other rather than in the middle, but, I don't know what everybody thinks.
I'm all right with that. As long as we'll see it again and have a chance to consider it.
Reasonable size.
Well, I was thinking we just delegate it to Chris.
Oh,
and
okay, I'm sorry.
she can just say, if you want this, if you don't want it, and they want me to come back, if you don't mind.
As long as I don't get any more ticks on me, I'm fine.
Okay. Well, you don't have to walk out there, you just have to look at the plan, so
Is
it's.
there a height that is designated?
No, it's just a split
A
rail
split rail
fence.
fence,
It's
yeah.
just 2
38
things with
inches or
a,
so.
Well, right, but
post.
usually that's about 4 feet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, 3 feet, 4
Yeah,
feet.
yeah.
I mean,
4 feet, yeah,
a low
somewhere.
fence would be
Yeah.
acceptable as well.
Aren't they 8
Yeah,
feet?
I mean, it's just,
The sections are, yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
they're
one
just
rail.
6 feet.
Could it be
you
one
know.
rail?
Yeah, so have an open
Yeah,
section.
well, it's
Yeah.
2 rails.
Yeah.
Not 1, 2.
2.
Well, usually, but it could be like a,
2 rails is what we've always done.
okay. So there's a minimum height that you,
Yeah.
okay.
So, I don't know, is that
Yeah,
a
it's
a
fine.
solution?
That's a solution.
Okay.
So
All
when
right.
you're gonna put the fence up, call me, and I'll come out and look-see at it.
Thank
All
you.
right, so do we have a motion to delegate this to Chris, using our discretion, to allow up to 2 sections to be omitted, so for access to the,
Not
Area.
consecutive.
I'll make the motion to.
Jack moved, second,
Who's second?
Dave
Dave.
seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, okay. So, all right, you can work out that with Chris then,
All right,
okay?
thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
Guess I'm gonna be out of the office.
Get the sign in.
As long as it's not raining, it's okay.
It's always raining.
Nah, there's a few dry weekends.
Okay, moving right along. Next item on the agenda, 15 Meadowcrest Drive, bond release and reassignment.
So I went out, this site was built many years ago, and it's perfectly vegetated. So the intent was to release it from here, it's $2,500. And then associated with this, you have, I just submitted a planting plan for you for 106 Seymour. The bond would be reassigned to ensure the plantings and longevity, is that the right word? Of the plantings, because typically you want to ensure that the plantings are done and that the plantings last for, 3 years at a minimum. So that's, the bond should be released, there's no question about that, but in this particular case, he's asking to have it reassigned to 106 Seymour.
So the owner of the bond basically is requesting to be handled this way, right? Okay.
Right, and I did check
Yeah, he owns
with
most
upstairs with Tony Genovese, who's the finance director, and he said that that's something that can be done.
Okay, I think we're better off with a bond than not a bond, and,
Yeah, and it
And
was
we
a
have to
cash
release it
bond,
anyway,
so
so,
it's
yeah.
okay.
yeah,
Cash is better than whatever.
yeah. Yes, Stephen?
106?
Yeah.
Well, we need to do,
Well, we have to,
we have to act on this bond.
Yeah. On the topic of the bond, let's say, as it relates to the 15 Meadowcrest Drive, and the potential transfer to the 106 Seymour, I will say I'm concerned about the wording of the letter we got, we received in our packets a May 15 email from Mr. Forchetti, 9:55 a.m. Says he'd like to request the relocation of the bond from 15 for planting reclamation purposes. Why do I remember seeing something that said, in case these don't get planted in the spring? Does that ring a bell with respect to 106
We were
Seymour?
talking about that depending on when the season was that you got a planting plan. and
Where
it
did I
wasn't-
read that from, Chris?
You didn't read it. You may have read it in the minutes.
That's where I read it, in the minutes, maybe. If I didn't read it in the minutes, where else could I have seen that?
It would have been me telling you that he was proposing a bond if he didn't have a planting plan here for you to approve in time for it to be planted this fall
Thank you.
or spring.
Thanks. So my concern, and we'll deal with 106 when it comes up on the agenda, but I just didn't want the bond to take the place of the plantings, that it be interpreted by the owner that it is okay not to move forward with the planting plan because now we have a bond. So that's
No.
a footnote to my concern, I guess, and I'll bring that up
You
when we get
have
to
a plan.
106.
Yeah, there's
He's
a,
proposing a plan now.
Yes,
You
I saw
wanted a
that.
plan, you got a plan, and typically when you have a planting plan, you also have a bond to ensure that the plantings are done and that they last for 3 years. So this is a typical thing that you do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm aware of
He's
that.
not trying to evade planting plants.
So, again, just going back, there was something written in the record with respect to this, that in case these things are not planted in the springtime. So that's why I'm making the particular point I'm making. I know full
I
well
understand.
that planting plans are backed by bonds. That's Wetlands 101, I
Let's move
believe. So,
forward.
thank you, Mr.
okay,
Chairman.
all right.
What is the relationship between Meadowcrest and Seymour Road?
Same owner.
He owns the
same
same
Same owner, so
property.
therefore you're just moving the money from one place to
Yeah,
another,
got it,
so.
got it. I missed that along.
All right, we're fine with that. I don't think we need to vote on, I guess we
Yeah,
should
you
vote on the
normally do.
transfer, yeah.
I
Okay.
move to transfer that from 15 Meadowcrest to 106 Seymour Road.
Okay, we have a second? Dave seconded it, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions, we're all set. Okay, continuing on.
Now you get Mr. Shepherd again.
I'm sorry?
Now you get Mr. Shepherd again.
No, okay, well, we like Alan, so.
Yeah. So in your packets, there was a list of plants that Cheryl had submitted. Cheryl's here. So that's what that list was, so. But they can explain, because they're here.
So again, for the record, Alan Shepard and
Cheryl
Weiner.
homeowner,
and the
West Bridgely.
yeah,
Yes.
designer.
Designer, correct.
So
I'm sorry, can you sign in for him?
Yeah.
Whatever.
So, the lot is on Eldersley Lane. That was done a few years ago. And Cheryl reached out to us. She'd like to put a pool in the backyard. It's close to the wetlands. There's a hillside seep close to her property. You know, personally, I was concerned with the grades and how it would fit in with the backyard. So I actually went out there with my grandson and shot the grades in the pool area. To my surprise and, delight, the pool fit right perfectly in the backyard. So you don't see any grading on the plan. That's because there is no grading on the plan. What they designed fits right into the backyard that's established right now. So there's the number of steps for the walls and stuff like that fit perfectly. You know, I field checked everything. So this fits, you know, and I give them credit for diligence to work it out. You know, we are, you know, the property does have a wetland close by. You know, there is, backyard right up to the wetland, but that's a hillside seep coming down the hill. As far as the pool placement, it fits right where they have it. Their little, equipment shed fits into the hillside. There's no grading for the backyard. The steps, the exact amount of steps they have going around the pool works perfect. You know, there's already a patio in the backyard. So as far as the engineering concerns, you know, I'm good with this pool plan, right? It's within a regulated area, but it's also within the backyard that was established many years ago. The whole, you know, the applicant also proposes some native plants along the wetland buffer or wetland line there to create a buffer. So, you know, I think that says it, unless you guys want to put some input in.
No, I don't think so. Any questions?
Any questions?
Just our usual questions as the type of filter that's gonna be used. Usually we look for cartridge and not diatomaceous earth.
Yes, correct. I'm not a pool designer per se, like the pool company when he submits for permit. Will obviously take care of that, but you know, there's you know, we haven't specified the equipment yet, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I guess, you know, it's looks like it's fairly tight back there, and I don't know, like a backwash area into the yard drain might not, I don't know. I don't know what you plan on doing as far as that kind of thing goes.
Did you lay anything out for that or no?
No.
Okay, well, think about it. We'll have Chris just monitor that, or be a condition of the permit that.
Yeah.
It would have to be a condition of your permit. It's not something that the pool permit
Right.
has a place for.
I guess that's my question. Is there a specific thing that you want to see?
A cartridge filter.
I'm sorry?
Cartridge filter?
Cartridge filter.
Okay.
And we could designate a spot for that once I know what they're gonna use and what their requirements would be.
What's the nature of the wetland there? I see an intermittent water course. Is it all natural, or is it mowed and it's just,
It's natural. It's a hillside seep. It comes down. We got little rivulets that come down over the hill. It doesn't look that much different, no different than it did back 20 years ago when we did this site. You know, I walked it. It's just a hillside seep coming down off the hill. There's some logs that fell down in the rivulets and stuff like that. It's braided coming down the hill, but it's all natural, looking like it was the original subdivision.
Mr. Chairman?
sure.
The wire fence shown, that's going to remain?
Yes, and it is, they did put the new wire fence out into the wetland area a little bit. I looked at it and it's there, right? So I would think, because they do get a lot of deer up there, that it could remain where it is because it's there, and it will protect the planting that they're gonna do.
Fine, but mostly, just as you may have heard in our discussion with another applicant tonight, that would well serve our objective to have that area
Yeah.
physically demarcated. So tell me, the mulch area near the wire fence, is that a new mulch area, or what's going on there?
Yes, I can answer that. So the property, 2005, 2006, when the house was being built, the landscaper, mulched there, and I've just continued to do that, not realizing until Alan pointed it out to me that it shouldn't have been done. And it only goes halfway. The rest around the back of the yard, there is no mulch, and that's just natural moss and whatever nature is growing there. So I would like to return it back to that. I'm getting rid of the mulch, so it's just all natural there. And that's where these proposed plants would go as a buffer against the deer fencing.
Okay, so, so that mulch area, is that elevated in any way? So you can see it, it's kind of a feature on the landscape?
Yes, exactly.
So that actually serves some purpose.
It does?
A useful purpose for our commission, because that tends to buffer the wetland area from your human activities, upland of that, let's say. So I'm not commenting on whether you should keep the mulch area or not. These plantings are certainly desirable. So,
Correct.
Maybe working with Davey,
Yes.
see how they can integrate these plantings with the scape there to create that physical barrier.
Okay.
Including water running off that's chlorinated and chemically treated should not be permitted some pathway to that wetland. So having planted that in your mind,
Yeah.
I'm happy
Oh,
about
that's
that.
great. Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I should say that mulch area too is, like, right now, that's all slope. And we're not planning to change any of it. Like, that's,
Staying.
the backyard slope stays exactly the way it is now.
Thank you.
I don't know, looks like a fairly decent plan to me, working with a tight area, so.
Yeah, we're kind of, I think there's little discretion on our part if we're going to strike a balance. I think
Can we-
given the sensitivity that's already been exhibited by the property owner to the area, so I feel comfortable
Well,
voting in favor of this proposal.
Yeah, we can decide this tonight, right, Chris?
Correct.
The start of last month. Anybody else have any other questions or comments?
Looks good.
Okay.
So,
I guess you're gonna come in on the existing driveway and get around to
Yeah,
that all
we're
out.
coming off the existing driveway. We'll put the stone anti-track apron in,
In it.
It's literally, there's no grading around the pool.
So the stuff you
You know,
dig out.
Off-site
Offsite.
material?
Yeah, we'll take the material off-site.
it's sensitive to stockpiling, because if you're digging for a pool, you're going to be,
We'll take it off-site. We may have to, if we
if it
have
stays for
to.
one day, what will you do?
Yeah, what's that?
If there's a stockpile for one day, what will you do? Will you?
It'll be
ring that
on
with
the driveway and we'll put hay bales around it.
Okay. And something, tarp over the top of it so we don't have a stormwater problem.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I doubt it will. We'll probably put it right in the truck.
Yeah, our goal is to get it right on.
You get the point where
Yes.
In all reality, like, the site's not big enough to keep it there. Like,
You've no place
we
for a
just don't-
stockpile
We just
yet?
don't have room to keep it there and keep working, so.
Yeah, well,
Music to our ears,
but we
music to
hear
our
what
ears
you're
right
saying, we will.
Okay.
So we
All right.
prepared to entertain a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, do we have a motion to approve the application with the proviso that the filter be a cartridge filter for the pool? Any other comments or restrictions or?
And then you want to have those plantings done in the
plantings.
mulch
Oh,
area.
yeah, yes, I'm sorry, yeah. Any other things?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a second?
A second.
Jack seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions? You're all
Thank
set.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for a thoughtful plan. Hopefully you get your pool in soon then.
Have my grandkids, thank you.
All right. Okay, let's see. Any correspondence, Chris, that we need to talk about or deal with?
I don't know. I think I gave you all the stuff we got.
Okay. Yeah, there was really, I don't think there was anything else in the package. Hold on, let me just double check.
Just minutes.
Gene, you're up if that's all.
While Gene's getting geared up, Christine, I have to compliment you. You do such a good job with the minutes. I mean, your attention to detail, certainly I focus on things that I say and whatnot. You just capture, you capture everything. So I just,
Well, it's 50 some odd years of doing them.
you're getting good at it.
Yeah, I guess so.
My only comment is, on the last page, meeting adjournment, it was adjourned at 8 PM, but then it also says it was adjourned at 8:20.
I'll check.
Yeah.
See what we did.
Unless there's a lot of discussion.
Did we discuss 106 Seymour yet? Did we?
No, we didn't.
We will do that, okay?
Yeah, it does say 8 in one spot, 8:20 in another spot, so, yeah.
I had to have something for you, Gene.
Yeah.
Yeah, waited to the very end, so
No, there's a
she
little
thought you'd
spacing
give
issue on the
up.
bottom of the second page, but that doesn't change the content, so.
All right.
But Gene hasn't skipped a beat since
Yeah,
you were not
I got
here.
2 months I wasn't here, yeah.
All right, so with that change, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move to approve.
Thank you. Dave seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Okay, that's done.
All right.
All right.
So the only other thing you got left is 106, which is that planting plan that you got.
What does it look like?
It's a full
Oh,
sheet.
this. Oh, yeah.
It's an actual planting plan.
And another list.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Yep, I've reviewed the plan, and I'm prepared to approve it as proposed. I'm pleased that the property owner has gotten this to us, and we're moving this matter off of our agenda, and because this project's been open, this exceedance to the disturbance area has been more than a year now, so this is very welcome to get a plan and some commitment to get it done. Thank you.
Okay, if Stephen's satisfied, so am I.
He is, yeah. Me too.
Yeah. And plus, we have a bond, too.
Plus, we
I
got a
was gonna
bond.
say we have a bond.
So I can
we
notify
could've
them
ordered.
that they can start planting.
Yes, before it's
Yeah,
too late.
okay.
Mhm. Yeah, and we don't have to approve anything on this formally, do we? No.
No.
Okay. All right, enforcement officer, Chris, anything going on we need to know about? Or worry about?
Oh, 344 Amity?
344.
Oh, crap, I don't think I gave that to you. So, they've done plantings, and they did riprap. And so, they didn't wait to have you look at the plantings. So I asked Chris Sullivan, not me, the other Chris who doesn't spell his name right, from the Conservation District, to go out and see if it comported with the plantings that he had suggested. He said that some of them hadn't, and so he's told them what they need to get, and they're supposed to be getting that, and then he's gonna go back out and make sure that the plants that he told them to put are in the right place. Most of the plantings are correct. He said that the job that they did on rip-wrapping that outer curve is perfect. He said that's not gonna, there's not gonna be any disturbance that he can see from there, that looks great. But he said there were some plantings that they'd put in the lower areas where it was wetter feet that he didn't think were gonna last. And so they're moving those to areas where they'll thrive rather than just tossing them. And then they're going to get more plantings. So he's going to go back out and report back to us.
Oh,
So
that's
we
good.
have a report from somebody who we're not paying, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then.
That's all I
we'll
got.
We'll carry that over to next month and just hopefully
Yeah,
we won't
and
have
then
to
he'll
talk
let
about
us
it
know
anymore,
what's
so.
going on. But he's been out there twice, or 3 times, because he went out originally, and then he went out again, and then he went out to see what they did.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
On the topic, Chris, could you take some photographs that?
I haven't been out there, but I can, he was gonna send me photographs.
Before our next meeting, so we can see what the present conditions look like in
Yep.
those areas? Thanks.
And he was gonna send me photographs, thank you for mentioning that. So I'll remind him.
Okay.
Sounds like a busy season for them right now, so,
I can imagine, but he has a month, so,
yeah. So I'll ask him for photos.
okay.
Thanks.
Anything else we need to talk about? Chris, anything else going on? That's
Just
wetlands
have an
related,
umbrella
not-
tomorrow, because it's supposed to really rain.
Yeah, I know. We don't need to know any zoning stuff, but any wetland stuff that's.
We don't want to talk about
I
zoning
know, we don't want to
stuff,
talk
no.
about zoning. All right,
Great meeting,
anything else?
great meeting.
No? Okay. And then, do we
Tell
have
me
a
what
motion?
time we're adjourning, so I get it right.
Do we have a motion to adjourn? It is, Jack moved to adjourn, it's 8:40.
8:40.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Stephen seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? We're all done, 8:40, thank you, everyone.
Okay.